Film Studios' fan-made passion project, Project Aperon, intended to be a fully rebooted reinterpretation of 2003's Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic, it was to be programmed on Unreal Engine 4 with a re-beautified set of planets, blasters, and lightsabers, offering fans and newcomers alike the immortal cycle of Darth Revan on modern machinery. The hope was that Disney might turn a blind eye out of respect to the sheer fanaticism of the still vibrant KOTOR community, mercy for a fandom that hasn't received a mainline sequel since the release of Knights of the Old Republic 2 in 2004. However, the studio's worst fears came true in October of 2018 when Disney sent a cease and desist to the studio. Knights of the Old Republic fans have grown accustomed to Heartbreak. Those first two games, one by BioWare and the other by Obsidian, were critical darlings and commercial successes, and yet KOTOR was abandoned by LucasArts and now EA as the Star Wars video game license shifted hands throughout the last 2 decades. BioWare, of course, took a crack at an MMORPG, The Old Republic, a massive $200 million project. The Old Republic was greeted with mild enthusiasm when it launched in 2011 and has continued to tick away in the dark corners of the galaxy for a group of dedicated fans for the last 9 years. But for KOTOR diehards, The Old Republic never scratched the itch that the original games did. These same KOTOR diehards would crowd around their computers every E3, hoping that this might be the year where the powers that be come to their senses and bring down the curtain on the third installment of one of the greatest RPG franchises of all time. Invariably, they were left disappointed. Despite the constant bait and switches, despite the fact that KOTOR 1 and 2 were programmed on an ancient engine, despite the stark reality that much of the content in the franchise has been deemed non-canon, the community for those two games remains more resolute than ever. One of the moderators who runs the Knights of the Old Republic subreddit says his forum has grown miraculously in recent times. He commandeered the subreddit 4 years ago when it first had about 20,000 subscribers. Today, thanks to a combination of nostalgia, ongoing fan thirst, and the current Disney-fied Star Wars revival, that number has jumped to 71,000, all for a game that predates the first God of War. So how does a small nation generate new talking points and discussion threads about a dyad of Star Wars adventures that have been disowned for eons? Well, it isn't easy. Both KOTOR 1 and 2 have been strip-mined for parts in the decades they've been around, and it's not like there's an ultimatum on the horizon, but the community works with what they have. Someone posts a picture-perfect cosplay of Bastila Shan, and someone else offers their foreboding fan art of the Sith homeworld of Korriban. God, I would do anything for a remake of this game with modern graphics and cutscenes, writes one poster. Well, us too.
Are the secrets of the Star Forge so valuable? Can its power truly be worth the risk?
There have been other Star Wars games that capture a variety of different Star Wars fantasies. The Battlefront series does a fantastic job of replicating the film's many celestial war zones. TIE Fighter and X-Wing allowed players to delve deep in the nuts and bolts of what it means to be a fighter pilot, and last year's Fallen Order, with its globe-trotting story and well-polished combat system, was about as close as we've come to a genuine KOTOR successor in recent memory. There is no question that in 2020 it's very possible to have a good time playing a Star Wars video game. As anyone who's lived through the Kinect era knows, that wasn't always the case. But nothing quite captures what made the BioWare and Obsidian games special. Both those studios excel at world building, and you can find life in every inch of the KOTOR games, particularly in the many eccentric bit characters that surround the hero's journey. Star Wars as a universe thrives on the fringes. As kids, we soaked up the many squishy aliens in the Mos Eisley Cantina, imagining their names, their homeworlds, and their lives when they weren't in the background of a Jedi's quest. In KOTOR 1 and 2, we got an intimate view of the people in the vast background of Star Wars, and together we learned that life in this galaxy was so much more interesting if you spent some time exploring it. According to the moderator, some people on the KOTOR subreddit desperately want another game in the series, while others have made peace with the 2 games they have, and they'll be content no matter what. But a third contingency doesn't want to see a new game at all, citing dissatisfaction with present Star Wars as a whole, the video game industry, or whatever other reason. If there is to be a new Knights of the Old Republic, who is to say that the game will operate within the same spirit? The proclivities of the games industry has changed so much since 2003. Is a purely single-player Star Wars RPG still feasible? There is no question that we live in a world that's skewed further away from the archetypal experience that KOTOR epitomized. Even Assassin's Creed is a living game now, but this business is also eternally surprising. Already, we've seen shockingly faithful, long-belated sequels to Shenmue, Planescape Torment, and MechWarrior arrive on American shores. A brand new Psychonauts, Skate, and Stalker are well on their way, and one of the most anticipated games of the year is Cyberpunk 2077, which is very much a big-budget single-player RPG. The arc of the universe is long, but it bends towards fan service. It will take the right studio and a lot of good faith, but a new KOTOR game can work. After all, the community is still here. All it needs is a publisher to hold up its end of the bargain. For all things Star Wars, video games, fan games, and everything else, you're already in the right place. IGN. May the Force be with you.